everyone, welcome to Series Food Lab. Today I'll walk you through how to make Bhakshalu. It's also known as Puranpoli or Holige. Let's get into it. The first step to making these is to rinse and soak 1 cup of chana dal or split chickpeas overnight or at least 5 to 6 hours. Drain the chickpea water and add 2 cups of fresh water to the chickpeas. Put it on the stovetop and let it boil until it's soft. Make sure to mix once in a while. Let the chana dal cook for 20 minutes. Check once to see if it's as soft as shown. If not, then cook them for a few more minutes. After it's done cooking, drain the water into another bowl and set it aside to use for later. Take 1 cup of crushed jaggery for 1 cup of chana dal. If you feel that the jaggery isn't sweet enough, then add another 1/4 cup of it. Take the mixture of chana dal and jaggery and grind it into a very smooth paste. Now the purnam, also known as modak, is ready. Take 1 cup of semolina or fine suji, 1 spoon of oil and salt in a bowl. Add half a cup of water and mix till it forms a dough. Cover it with a wet cloth and let it sit for 3 to 4 hours to form a soft dough. If the dough isn't soft after 3 to 4 hours, grease your countertop with a little ghee. Take the dough and put some ghee on it. Pound the dough a few times to make it soft. Put a few spoons of oil on the dough and cover it. Let it sit for 30 minutes. The dough should look like this. If the dough was already like this when you removed the wet cloth, then none of the steps of pounding were needed. The difference of the dough is clearly shown here. The materials you'll be using to make these are a sheet of paper like this. They're available just for making Bhakshalu, and make sure it's thick, smooth, and oil and water resistant. The second thing we'll be needing is a thick plastic film, and it should be sturdy, thick. You should cut it out to the size of what you're using underneath. Now we'll be seeing how to make Bhakshalu. First off, add 1 spoon of oil to your paper and take a small ball of dough. Make it into a small ball with your hands. Put it on the paper and start to spread it out into a small circle. Take a small ball of modak or purnam, well, today we'll be referring to it as purnam, and make sure it gets covered by the dough, like the size of the dough, and wrap it neatly so that none of it's showing. Kind of like how you would see a dumpling. After you're sure it's all covered neatly, add half a spoon of oil to either side of the ball. Now spread it out into a neat little circle, just that big. Take your plastic film and start spreading it out into a big circle, but make sure it's not too thin, but not too thick. Just thin enough for it not to rip. Use your fingers mainly and apply a little bit of pressure. And make it into as neat of a circle as you can. When it looks like this, take off the plastic film very neatly so that it doesn't rip or stick to it. After you remove it, take a small spoon of oil and put it on top. Now take your little paper and the treat and place it on top of the pan very neatly, so that it doesn't rip and it's neat. We're using a thick iron pan, and make sure the pan's on very low heat because these burn very quickly and we don't want that to happen. Fry it a few minutes on this side and make sure it's puffing up like that and that you can easily slide your utensil that you're using underneath it. As I previously said, when there's like little bubbles on top, start sliding your utensil neatly so that it doesn't break and then it neatly goes through. Now take it up and flip it over. It should be that golden brown, and you know, it's good. Make sure to pat it after you flip it so that it will rise neatly. Once you think it's done enough to slide your utensil neatly underneath, like that, slowly lift it up And now transfer it onto your plate. And now our bhakshams are nice and hot and ready to serve with the ghee. Also be served with freshly squeezed mango pulp. Most people like to eat it with milk.